Hej och välkomna till Fun Swedish, our YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about something very important and difficult in Swedish. The Swedish vowels. Today's vowel is going to be this one. E. Basically, it's the duck face vowel. We're going to talk more about it in this video. So far, we have done 6 videos about the Swedish vowels. A, O, U, Å, and E or I. A, O, U, Å are the back vowels because the sound comes from the back of the mouth. And E or I are the front vowels because the sound comes from the front. And today's vowel is also a front vowel. I. The sound comes from the front. That's why it's called a front vowel. I. A lot of people struggle with this I sound. So that's why we're going to teach you all about this vowel, the I, in this video. So how does this I work? Well, the I is for us a mix between the I, the parse vowel that we talked about before, and the O, which is the round vowel, the one you do a little circle with your lips. It's kind of a mix. So when I say I kind of do this little I sound, the parse sound, but I form a little circle with my lips at the same time. So that's kind of how I can get this I. We're going to practice this a lot, so don't worry about it if you don't make the I perfect in the beginning. But first thing to remember, first thing is that you need to put out your lips when you do it. And you need to think like you're doing a duck face. I. It's kind of like you taking a photo of yourself, but with a little duck face. I think we can do it. Think about Ben Stiller, a famous actor in this movie Zoolander. That will also help you a lot. If you don't do the duck face, you won't get the right sound. Again. Your lips should hurt after doing this so many times. Let's look at some words where you can see how this I is used. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We really need your subscription so we can continue doing these free Swedish lessons for you. Så, tack så jättemycket. The Swedish Y has 2 sounds, like all vowels have in Swedish, because they can have either a long sound or a short sound. If there's one consonant, just one consonant coming after the vowel, then it's normally, there are always some exceptions, but normally there's a long sound that you should do when you say the vowel. So in this case, you should do the I, the duck face sound, when it's long. I, when it's just one consonant coming after. On the other hand, if we have more than one consonant coming after, maybe 2 or more, then you should make the I very short. Even sounds a little bit like an I, kind of. We're going to see with some words and some examples. Let's start by practicing a word with this long version of the I. Remember here, we're doing the duck face. I. We have, for example, the number 4. Here is super important to put out our lips to form the duck face when we say it. Because, maybe you know this from previous videos, we also have the word fira. Fira, on the other hand, means something else. And it's written with an I. It means to celebrate. So if you say, for example, jag vill ha 4 kanelbullar, it sounds like you're saying, I want to celebrate cinnamon buns. You don't want that. I mean, you can celebrate them, but what you really want is 4 cinnamon buns. So that's why you need to say, jag vill ha 4 kanelbullar. Maybe it sounds kind of the same. 4. Yeah, but not for a Swede. A Swede can tell the difference. And we can also see the difference because we do the duck face. We put out our lips and form a circle when we say 4. So super important to not forget this. Do the duck face, form a circle, put your lips out when you say the Y in a long version. For example, in this number. 4. Okay, I think we're good now. 4. Just checking. Remember to do duck face. Otherwise, you're going to celebrate all kinds of things. And you don't want to do that when you want to say number 4. Okay, let's now see some other words where you can hear this long version of the Y, I, And also words where you can hear the difference between the E and the E, the harsh vowel. And here it's very, very important to pay attention to what I do with my lip movement. E, 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 E. Okay, let's look at the words. We have, for example, the word knee, knee. This one is written with a Y, a long version of the Y, knee. Do you see how I put out my lips when I say it? And this word knee means new. For example, en ny, what can I say? En ny kanelbulle. I want a new, it doesn't make any sense. En ny tröja, a new shirt. En ny tröja, a new shirt. So here we kind of put our lips when we say it, ny. This is super important to do the long version of the Y and also to put out our lips when we say new. Because we also have the word ni, ni. Ni, on the other hand, means you, but in plural, like you guys or you girls. Ni är bäst. Ni är de bästa följarna. You're the best followers. Ni. So here when I say ni, I'm not doing so much of the duck face. It's not like ni, it's more like ni. Let's practice again these two words. Ni, 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 ni. Woo! It actually hurts in my lips when I say it. But important to do when you say ni, ni. More examples. By. By means village. Also here we write it with a Y and we do a long Y. So it's like a duck face coming out here when we say village. By, by. And on the other hand we have the word bee, bee. Bee means a bee. So this little animal. So it's a big difference from village. So it's all about how you pronounce the Y and do the duck face here so you can hear the difference. B, 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 B. You see my lips? They're coming out every time I do the E. B, B. Next example is very important. We have the word byta, byta. This is how we say to change. For example, jag vill byta den här tröjan. I want to change this shirt. Byta. Important to do the duck face here because we also have the word bita, which means to bite. And you don't want to bite the shirt. You want to change it. So it's super important to do the duck face when it should be the duck face. Bita, duck face. Bita, bite, not duck face. Bita, 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 bita. Look at my lips when I say it, if you can't hear the sound. Let's look at more examples with words that have this long version of the Y. For example, the word dyr. Dyr is how we say expensive. For example, tröjan var dyr. The shirt was expensive. And we prepare for this because Sweden is quite an expensive country. So it's really useful to know the word dyr, duck face, dyr, because we have just one consonant coming after. Another example is the word hyr. Jag hyr en lägenhet i Stockholm. I rent an apartment in Stockholm. You can also say jag hyr en dyr lägenhet i Stockholm. I rent an expensive apartment in Stockholm. Here you can use both the words with a Y. Hyr, dyr, dyr, hyr. Yeah, you see. Hyr, rent. So, now we have practiced the long version of the Y for a long time. Y. Now we can relax a little bit because we're going to see how the short version of the Y looks like in Swedish and how it sounds. So it's more like an I instead of an Y. I. And the Y becomes short when we have two or more consonants coming after. In general, there were some exceptions. But in general, this is the very important rule to remember. Two or more consonants coming after the Y, any vowel, then it becomes short. So here we're going to do more an I sound. Let's look at some words. We have, for example, the word sylt. Sylt means jam, and we eat jam a lot in Sweden, especially with some kind of meat, for example, the meatballs, köttbullar. And to this we actually like to eat lingonberry jam, and that's called lingonsylt. So sylt, the word jam, has a short version of the Y because we have two consonants coming after the Y here. Sylt. So that's why it becomes short. Another example is the word hylla. Hylla means shelf. So basically where you can put your Swedish books. And hylla has also two consonants coming after. So that's why it's short. And the last example is nigga, but it's more like a mosquito. So nigga means mosquito in Swedish. Also here we have two consonants coming after, so that's why it's short. Let's practice these words together again. Sylt, hylla, nigga. All have short version of the Y. Okay, so let's create a sentence where we only use the short version of the Y. Det finns en nigga i sylten på hyllan. Det finns en mygga på sylten i hyllan. There's a mosquito in the jam standing on the shelf. Here we only use short version of the Y. Let's now look at some words where you can hear the difference between the long version of the Y and the short version of the Y. These words are quite similar, but just by pronouncing the word in the long version or the short version, the meaning changes. Syra, acid, syrra, sister, but slang. Syra, syrra, big difference. Last example, and this one is very common to mix up. Flyta, flytta. Well, could you tell the difference? Flyta, flytta. In the first one, we make the Y very long because there's just one consonant, the T coming after, one T coming after. And the other one, we have two T's coming after. So what do these different words mean? Flyta means to float. So basically when you're in the water and you float on the water. The other one, on the other hand, means to move. Flytta. Something you need to do a lot if you live in Stockholm. So good to learn this word. Flytta, to move. Okay, let's practice them again. Flyta, duckface. Flytta, short version of the Y. Because two consonants coming after. Flyta, flytta. Flyta, flytta. Flyta, flytta. So, that was it for the lesson about the Y, the Swedish duckface vowel. If you remember that, you will remember how to do it. So even if it's the long version of the short version of the Y, it's still a little bit of a, but just that in the long version it's extra E, and the other one is more like an I. So hopefully you liked this video, and if you did, please put a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future videos about the vowels, because we have still 2 more left, and all the other videos we're going to make for you. Tack så mycket. Hej då, vi ses!